Hey guys, Dan here. Today I want to talk about Martin Authentic Acoustic Lifespan strings. More specifically, how awesome I think they are, how great they sound, and their longevity. My main gigging guitar is a current issue Martin D28, the reinvented series. I bought it back in 2019, and I started using these strings shortly after that. This guitar kind of spoiled a lot of other guitars for me because I love the tone, the neck feels perfect in my hand, and the tuning stability is the best of any guitar that I've ever played. The other day I was playing a show, and another guitar player came up to me during my break and said that he thought that the guitar sounded great, which is always really nice to hear, especially from another player. But he was extra shocked when I told him that I had put over 100 hours on this one set of strings. I put this set of strings on my guitar on May 8th, and it's now July 24th, so it hasn't actually been that long purely in terms of days. But in that time, I've subjected them to 112 and a half hours of time on stage at 36 shows across 23 venues in 3 states. Plus whatever time I've spent playing guitar in between those shows. I'm a full-time musician, and it's summer right now, so I'm doing a lot of shows. I usually wouldn't go this long without changing strings. Normally I change them maybe every 20 or so hours of playing time. But coated strings are expensive too, so I try to get the most out of every set. I'd love to know how often you change your guitar strings, so let me know below in the comments. I didn't actually set out to do this test. I was just really busy and playing a lot of shows, and I kept forgetting about it because the strings didn't sound horrible yet. If they had started buzzing or lost all of their tone or had intonation issues, then I definitely would have changed them. But surprisingly, they don't seem to have any of those problems. Once I realized how much time I'd put on them, I was curious to see how long they'd last. And to my ears, they still sound okay considering the amount of time that I put on them. That said, I'm changing them as part of this video, so I'm not actually gonna play them until they break. They're not as bright as new strings. With the new set, I'm hearing a lot more sparkle and harmonic content, but that's not necessarily a problem, particularly when I'm playing out by myself and it's just supporting my voice and not having to cut through an entire band. I've played other brands of strings where I've had a string break the first show that I've used it for. So the fact that they're all still intact after 112 and a half hours on stage is kind of crazy, especially because I do a lot of shows in really loud bars where it's just me, so I have to strum really heavily sometimes to keep the energy going. I actually tore the nail on my index finger at a show last week because I was strumming so hard, so these strings have lasted longer than my nail. For full disclosure, I do have a couple of friends who work at the Martin factory nearby, but Martin doesn't sponsor me. Nobody is paying me to say any of this stuff. I just think they make awesome gear that has made my life easier as a working musician, and I want to tell you about it. I'm going to play some samples from some songs from my new album, which just came out last month, on the old set, and then I'm going to change out those strings and put a new set on, and then record that as well, and then I'll switch between. And so you can hear what the difference is. So without further ado, So there you go, a set of Martin Authentic Acoustic Lifespan strings with over 112.5 hours of stage time on them. I'd love to know what you think. Let me know in the comments down below. Was it what you were expecting to hear? By the way, I'm not at all suggesting that you should never change your strings, but that said, I do think it's super impressive that you can put this much time on one set of strings and not have a string break mid-set. I'm Dan Krochmal. If you've enjoyed this video and you'd like to see more, hit the thumbs up, subscribe. Please let me know in the comments below. I'm a full-time musician, so I mainly post my own music, but I love talking about gear too. Thank you so much for watching. See you next time.